So I want to kind of start where I teased in the beginning here, like how the teams are so important. It's where I think of it this way, right? Like you hear on the news all the time, what are the predictions markets saying? It's because where people are putting their money, right? When you vote with your money, it has a different level of significance, right? And so these PE and VC firms, they're voting with their money on how to create those unicorns. And you had mentioned a conversation that you had one time with a big time investor, very experienced investor. And I'd love to just start with what the advice he gave you.
Yeah, see, let me start off by saying, yeah, I really love helping organizations grow and, getting involved and seeing them scale. Because I think once you do that once, you really want to do that again. It's exciting. It's such an accomplishment. And I vividly recall, we were at a company event and I had the opportunity to stand beside this lawyer and investor that was very successfully invested in several unicorns, some well-known companies that everyone here would probably know. And anecdotally, he was just telling me, the secret to success with these organizations is getting a small group of people to start off with that are very smart, but that are highly engaged with the business. And when he said that, I thought back to our company at the time and realized, yeah, that was in fact the case, right? People that are smart and thinking 24/7 about the business, how they can help, how they can make improvements. And so human capital is still important despite, some of the things we talk about today. At the end of the day, you need great people to be successful and they really need to be passionate about what they're doing. And so I don't think success comes without those two things, really.
So that just puts a major spotlight right on hiring, right? And forming these teams. And, we know high performance teams creates high performance companies. But the shifts in the workforce and what AI is doing that and just rethinking the need to rethink assumptions about workforce management hiring that we had before that we should be rethinking now. Take us through what your thoughts are on kind of that, the rethinking that we now need to do.
Yeah, it's really an interesting time. And, my current role at AbroadWorks, where we help primarily North American companies find talent and manage and bring on board talent in other parts of the world, we're really at the forefront of seeing some of these changes. And notably, you could see even what's happening with some of the layoffs in the market. I think a lot of organizations are reluctant or frozen on hiring because they're trying to really figure out what they can do with their existing team flanked with AI, right? And we don't really know that, right? Like it's every day there's something new that's coming out and some new functionality, and we're trying to incorporate. The world is moving very quickly. So as a leader, you're, I think, in a position because human capital is your biggest expense in most cases to really try to wait and understand, hey, what is it going to look like in 6 months? What is it going to look like? And what is my team going to look like? What are they going to be able to achieve with the tools that are emerging so quickly? And so it's a really interesting time to kind of like talk about this. And we see some of those changes even with the hires that we make and the roles that we look at, the types of people that we're hiring, they're different than what they were just even a few months ago. And so that change is accelerating very, very fast. And we kind of have to account for much different things than we did just even a year ago. Right. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about there.